What's up, guys? Welcome back to Brian Reaction once again. Happy new month. So guys, if you're coming across this video for the first time, please don't forget to subscribe, comment, like and share. To my returning viewers and subscribers, thank you so much for the support, for always coming back and watching my videos, for sharing my videos. Thank you so much for that support. So guys, Mia Mottley, the Prime Minister of Barbados Queen, I want you to listen to her message. She has a message to our leaders. We all know Mia Mottley is one of those leaders, the most fearless, the most brave. When they have something to tell the world, they just come out in broad light and speak in public. So in this video, she has sent a message to all our puppet leaders, to all our failing leaders, to all our leaders who need help, because our leaders definitely they need help. Whatever they are doing is not what we want. So she has a message for them in this video. I want you guys to watch this video and I'll be back with a few reactions.
Barbados Prime Minister ban out Andrew Holiness off Jamaica.
The world has been unprepared. Financial crisis that started in 2008, which then triggered fiscal crises across many of the world's countries. And if that was not enough, a social crisis characterized by rising inequality, with the consequences thereto, be it substance abuse, mental health challenges, homelessness, or human trafficking. Then there was a global pandemic, lasting 2 to 3 years and taking the lives of millions of people. And for those surviving, they had restricted movement and restricted choices. All of this, my friends, has been exacerbated by the spreading of fake news. This distorts reality and threatens the stability of our societies, creating a platform for hate to thrive and prejudice to rise. But deeper than all of these crises is a bigger, more insidious crisis that is undermining our domestic and global institutions that have promoted order, peace, and prosperity. It is, my friends, the crisis of truth. Excellencies, when we lose shared truth, our communities, our countries, our global society loses their center of gravity. At first, the damage may seem quiet. Words bend and facts drift in the service of political point scoring. But slowly, over time, we descend into political tribalism. We develop alternative realities and we are unable to understand each other and communicate with each other because we lack a center. Then we grow suspicious of each other. In the absence of truth, trust deteriorates. And we see it all around us, in global forums, and indeed on the blocks and in the communities in our own countries. Trust between neighbors, trust between the governed and the governing, trust in our instructions, trust in our social order, trust in our health systems, trust in our global rules, governance structures. It all seems, in the words of Chinua Achebe, to be falling apart. When we lack truth and we lack trust, law becomes theater, news becomes spectacle, and science becomes just another opinion. As I've had cause to say in this great hall on a few times, our world today worryingly resembles the world of 100 years ago. And this has become even more evident with the closing of our borders to both goods and to people. This has magnified the geopolitical tensions which had already taken root. Disturbingly, war regrettably has only entered the daily lexicon of the West, not when thousands were dying on the continent of Africa or in Myanmar, but when war came to Europe. Nevertheless, we still call for peace in the Ukraine. Only yesterday, a leading British newspaper reminded us that for 500 days, 260,000 people, virtually the population of my country. 260,000 people have been trapped in the Sudanese city of El Fasher. The article reported that while political progress stalls, those who attempt to escape are killed, and those who remain inside are starved. The world must not ignore the horror in Sudan. But of course, I don't need to remind you that it must not ignore the horror in Gaza. The genocidal destruction taking place in both places must now have our full attention.
And how many more pictures of people must we see on these screens without being able to move? Or are we so blinded and hardened that we can no longer appreciate the cries of humanity? I have been saying to Barbadians for many years that many hands make light work. Today, we need the correct mix of voices, ambition, and action. Do some leaders in this world believe that they can survive and thrive on their own? Have they not learned from the pandemic? Can there be peace and prosperity if 1/3 of the world literally prospers and the other 2/3 of the world live under siege and face calamitous threats to our well-being? What the world needs now, my friends, is that which is within the ambit of less than 200 persons who are willing and prepared to lead. Leaders must not fail those who elect them to lead. And I say to you, there is a sword that can cut down this Gordian knot, and it has been wielded before. The central banks of the wealthiest countries engaged in $25 trillion of quantitative easing in the last 13 years. 25 trillion. Of that, 9 trillion was in the last 18 months to fight the pandemic. Had we used that 25 trillion to purchase bonds, to finance the energy transition, or the transition of how we eat, or how we move ourselves in transport, we would now today be reaching that 1.5 degrees limit that is so vital to us. I say to you today in Glasgow that an annual increase in the SDRs of $500 billion a year for 20 years, put in a trust to finance the transition, is the real gap, Secretary General, that we need to close, not the 50 billion being proposed for adaptation. And if 500 billion sounds big to you, guess what? It is just 2% of the 25 trillion. This is the sword we need to wield. Our excitement 1 hour into this event is far less than it was 6 months ago leading up to this event. Can we, with those voices and these speeches from Sir David and others, find it within ourselves to get the resolve to bring Glasgow back on track? Or do we leave today believing that it was a failure before it starts? Our world, my friends, stands at a fork in the...
Shout out to the Barbados Prime Minister, Mia Mottley. She seems to be the only Prime Minister in the Caribbean that is speaking out about these extrajudicial killings that's occurring in the Caribbean waters. You get what I'm saying? The rest of the Prime Ministers that are in the Caribbean and all these other islands were just sitting by and not saying anything about these killings that the United States is carrying out in the Caribbean waters. Let me tell you something. You're making a grave mistake. A big, big mistake. You dig? When you sit back and allow Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth to kill at will, and they did say that. They said they're going to kill whosoever they suspect to be trafficking drugs or narcotics. Okay, they said that. Trump said that, and Hegseth said that. So they're going to kill any suspected trafficker of drugs or whatever. Okay, they suspect to be a cartel. That is extrajudicial killing. It is illegal. You don't have to be a Harvard grad or a law student to know that. You could do basic reading on Google and you know it's illegal. The only prime minister that I see speaking out in the Caribbean about these illegal activities is the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley. What happened to the rest of the prime ministers? Are you afraid of America? You're afraid of Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Are you going to sit back and watch them disrupt your entire tourist industry, your fishing industry, livelihood of the fishermen, and say nothing and do nothing? Is that what you're going to do? Because you're so scared of the big bad USA. Well, thank God we got prime ministers like Mia Mottley from Barbados. Thank God we have those people who are educated, sensible, and speak out against this injustice and this bullshit that they're doing. People with a brain know it's bullshit. But a lot of you prime ministers in the Caribbean leaning back and you're scared. That's what it is. You're scared to say this is illegal, this extrajudicial. I heard there are bodies washing up on the shore, the seashore in Trinidad and Tobago that blew up boats that the U.S. blew up. If you search the internet, you'll see some of those images and all types of shit. Okay, Trinidad is just 6 nautical miles. I think it's 6 miles or something that from Venezuela. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, they're seeing things wash up in the shore in Trinidad and Tobago. That shit is illegal. It is illegal to just be killing anybody underwater and you can't bring to justice. It's extrajudicial killings. What's so hard to understand in that? What happened to where are these Caribbean leaders who need to stand up, say to the U.S., Trump and Hegseth, look, you can't do this shit. Go catch these people and get them to justice. You can't just be killing anybody down here. Where are these leaders at? Where? If you're out there fishing, be safe. Peace.
Welcome back, guys. I hope you have watched that entire video. Now, I've been doing such videos and I have been reading all your comments, and I want to pick up, those people, who have been commenting, who have been liking, when leaders like Mia Mottley come out and send messages to our leaders. Our leaders, they need help. Our leaders need to know that whatever they are doing in the offices that we put them in is not right, is not what we want. Now, Mia Mottley is one of the bravest leaders we have in the Caribbean, the most courageous, the most famous. Mia Mottley is just that one leader, who comes out in broad light, tells our leaders the truth in public. She never fears no one. She doesn't fear the West. She doesn't fear anybody. She's one leader who comes out, and tells the world the truth. So if we can be having such leaders across the world, this world will be a very, very good place, Such leaders, if every country could have leaders like her, then we would be far. Leaders who are strong, leaders who are not controlled, leaders who does not allow, these Western countries to try and manipulate us. She's one of those leaders that does not allow that. And one of the things she has been doing, she knows that most of our leaders have become puppet to these people. They are being controlled because they get aids from these people. They borrow money from these people and they are being silenced by that. When you have a debt from somebody, there's nothing you can say about that person. That person will now control you because he or she knows that you owe him or her. So at this point, our leaders have become puppets. Our leaders have been borrowing money from these people and they are being silenced by that. They cannot speak or say anything. Now, Mia Mottley has talked about a very serious point here about killings. Look at how these people are killing young people in our countries, and our leaders are just there silent, watching. We have laws. I have never seen a law that, you know, allows people to be killed just like that, just because maybe they have been found with drugs. We have laws. These people, they should be arrested, taken to court. They should follow right procedures when handling such matters. But when they know that these are black people from here and they are being arrested, they are killed mercilessly. And our leaders are just seeing that. Our leaders are aware of that, and they are not talking and they are doing nothing about it. And when we come out and try to speak these things, you know, some of you are saying that we should not be talking about this. Some of you are against that, but there's no way we can be letting these things happen when we have leaders who we elected to take charge, to help us, to make sure that our lives are taken care of. Now, if they let our young people, you know, get destroyed, get killed just because they have been found with drugs, are they really our leaders? That's a very disappointing fact, and thanks to Mia Mottley, she has talked about that factor in this video, and she has insisted it's not right, you know, when these people, you know, kill the young youths just because maybe they have found them with drugs or certain mistakes. It's not really good. So Mia Mottley together with Ibrahim Traore, those two, you know, are my best leaders so far. Those leaders, one thing they have done is to control these Western countries. They are being feared by these Western countries. They know they cannot reach to these two. These two, they are very smart, they are very strong, they are very courageous. They do not allow to become puppet to these people. They do not. You have seen what Ibrahim Traore has done in Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is now one of the best countries in the world. The Jamaicans love Burkina Faso so much. The whites here in Africa, we just love that country because this guy has managed, you know, to control these people from trying to enter his country, try to control his country, try to control him, because he has decided that he will not be manipulated by these people. And look at how Burkina Faso is. Look at the state of Burkina Faso. So these are the messages we are sending to our leaders. Jamaicans have been complaining about their PM being a sellout leader. They have been complaining a lot. I have been reading your comments and you have been complaining a lot about your PM. Many of you are regretting why you voted him into office. Now, this is some of the ways our leaders are failing in the field. And some of you don't want us to talk about it, which is very, very sad, but we won't stop. We will send messages. So Jamaicans have been complaining because their PM is just there. He's just allowing investors to come and control Jamaica. He's just allowing investors to come and control his people. He's just allowing investors to come and misuse his people. And his people chose him to make sure that they are safe. So he has become one of the puppet leaders to these people. He's letting these people controlling him, and this is not right for the people. As a leader, if you allow these people to come in and control you, you are done. You won't speak, you won't do anything. They will overpower you, they will try to control you. I remember there was a time Donald Trump tried to send a warning to the Jamaica PM, telling him to do, I don't know what was that, but he was trying to tell him to do something, an order from him directly. Who are you to control the PM of Jamaica? Who are you to control a different country? Now, the reason why he did that is because he knows that at some point our leaders are getting, you know, aids from them. So he knows that he owns us. That's why he is able to control us in so many ways. And that's why leaders like Mia Mottley, they come out and tell our leaders we should stop. We should embrace peace, we should embrace love, we should embrace truth. When we work together, when we work as a team, there is no way these people can get to us. There is no way these people can do anything to us. There is no way they can control us. There is no way they can control our youth or destroy our people. There is no way, because if we come together, then we will become very, very strong against these people. So in the comment section, I don't know what you guys think about Mia Mottley's speech. You can tell me whatever you think about what she said about, you know, how our youths are being controlled, killed by these people, and this is not really good. So thank you for watching this video, guys. Until my next video, one love.